It's extremely tough to come after the last presenter, Dato' Sam Manan. Thank you very much, Dato'. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have 5 years, apparently. It's all we have. In the latest report by the International Energy Agency, they state that the world is heading for irreversible climate change in 5 years if we don't take drastic action today. The report quoted their chief economist as saying, if we do not have an international agreement whose effect is put in place by 2017, then the door will be closed forever. Upon reading this was 2 weeks ago, I think, I actually sat down trying to absorb this alarming news. I must admit, ladies and gentlemen, I was shocked. This news struck me on many levels. The most important one was that I never realized that there was just so little time. I knew there was some urgency, but I didn't know it was only 5 years. I thought we had more time. It also struck me on another level. I have a 1-year-old son. This news meant that before he is 7, I will have the task of informing him of news that could impact him and his generation in a very big way. I'm hoping that it will be news that humankind has found ways to come together and work towards a climate change solution. Or I could be breaking news to him that my generation has screwed your generation forever. Ladies and gentlemen, I recall a few years ago that many went to Copenhagen so full of hope for a global deal, only to have their hopes completely crushed. I was working then with a civil society organization whom you've seen the logo many times. I was then also full of hope. And these same people went to Cancun, only to have their hopes dashed yet again. These same stubborn people who seem to have an inexhaustible reservoir of hope are now looking around for other potential solutions. They are no longer looking for one silver bullet. They are looking at several silver bullets. And can you guess where their attention has been turned to, ladies and gentlemen? Many of them are looking at you and me for this global deal. Many of them are looking at many round tables for these silver bullets. It's surprising. Some of our critics call us RSPO, meaning really slow progress overall. But it's because we are making progress that people are looking at us. Where the world has seen massive failures to collaborate across stakeholders, we seem to be succeeding. Apparently, we are looked upon as leading examples of how stakeholders across the globe can come together to work on solutions addressing global issues. These days, when I go around preaching the good news like a preacher of RSPO, there are always offers to partner up. I'm surprised. And then I'm even more surprised that they tell me how they think RSPO is such a fantastic success. And yet, on the other hand, I see in the newspapers how we are always, every day, ready to fail. So in a lot of the eyes of the world, we are a real success story. And this success is owed to all of you here today and has very little to do with me. Ladies and gentlemen, these last days at this conference gives me every reason to hope. I've been asking everyone I meet what they thought about this RT. And they said almost the same thing. They said that this year there was a strange feeling, a feeling of solidarity, a feeling that the petty issues have been put aside to focus on the bigger issue, To many attending the RT, they see that there is now a strong focus on transforming markets, a strong focus on transforming behavior, a strong intent to depart from business as usual. We have heard from the markets that whilst it is quite difficult for them to crack the puzzle of bringing certified sustainable palm oil to market, they will keep trying. They have also said that they will not duck the issue, and they acknowledge that it is a shared responsibility and that they will deliver on the 2015 commitment, maybe even earlier. We have also heard that from these last few days, various efforts have been made by producers to bring about change and innovation in their operations. Many do not realize that these companies are going out of their comfort zone and going into business unusual to solve the sustainability puzzle. I can offer you a simple example. Just yesterday, I got 2 very interesting business cards from plantation company representatives. One had a simple title, Conservation, attached to their job description, and the other one had the title, Community Outreach, attached to their job designation. You would not have heard of such job designations only a few years ago. And this is the kind of mindset change, the kind of innovation that these companies are going through today. And sometimes we forget the level of effort that goes into this change. We must not also forget the efforts of NGOs these last few days in telling us, in helping us transform the markets. The buyer's scorecard by WWF seemed to be gaining tremendous attention since its launch. I monitor the news, and it seems to be everywhere in the world talking about the global buyer's scorecard. I have no doubt that it will be a much-used tool for our stakeholders. We also note that concerned stakeholders want to see RSPO act faster and more professionally on grievances. Even the financial sector is getting in on the action. Investors are also promoting the production and use of CSPO. Who would have imagined this? That investors now actually talk about RSPO and using the RSPO standards as a filtering mechanism for investment. Ladies and gentlemen, we have also heard of the huge body of work that has been produced successfully by the Greenhouse Gas Working Group. An innovative emissions calculator has been developed via this working group, which should be extremely useful for all companies to measure their carbon footprint on a per ton of oil basis. Phenomenal. I also recognize that the call for a physical presence for RSPO in other countries and continents is getting louder at RT9. China, India, Latin America, Africa are calling. And I suspect we must heed this call pretty soon. Ladies and gentlemen, much positive news overall, some constructive criticism, but all of them helping to propel RSPO forward. What a fantastic atmosphere these last few days have been for me, and I hope it has been for you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you found this RT to be well organized, I can assure you it had very little to do with me. The team behind this were the ones who really planned this RT in great detail and, in my opinion, flawlessly. At this point, I'd like to thank the organizing committee members for doing such a fantastic job, and I'd like to name them. They are Lynette Hu of POIC, Mark Wong of Saimdabi, Chong Wei Kwang, and Siu Peol of the Secretariat. Thank you very much for your superb efforts. I'd also like to single out Anne Gabriel, our Communications Director, and Mr. M.R. Chandran for being such a solid force behind this committee that drove and inspired us all to action. Thank you very much. Of course, we owe a great deal of thanks to Alan and Selina of GB Works for their professional work in planning and running all this RT9 show. Thank you very much, Alan and Selina. Finally, I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who have come from the four corners of the globe to be in my hometown, the city of Kota Kinabalu. I sincerely hope that you will leave here with a good sense of RSPO's progress towards achieving its vision of transforming markets. I further wish that you leave with a realization that you are all very much part of an organization that will be making significant contributions to address pressing global issues. For me, I leave here with renewed hope that in 5 years, we'll be telling our children the phenomenal story of how this generation has put aside their differences and worked shoulder to solving a global crisis. Thank you very much.